neck and neck, but they got enough of an advantage that they could just kind of roll through it.
And I always felt that Dragons, while they provide a lot of gold and experience as well, they're not quite as used.
Happy with that Morgana out, he'll be able to roam a little bit better without such an aggressive push lane. Now Gragas is still in, so for Malaysia to pick Gragas would be pretty much the same thing. Gragas can clear that back caster wave of minions and continuously push you into your turret. So I believe we'll definitely see Gragas in this game.
Yeah, it's very, very likely overall, but the first pick's going to be onto Malphite. That's another highly contested champion overall. He's cool because you can actually run mid, top, or into the jungle. I think he's most commonly run top lane, but it's great because it's one of those champions you actually get to pick early on, and if you don't like the lane matchup he's going into, you can send him somewhere else.
Right.
I would not expect Malaysia to now pick a jungler for a very long time. I think they're going to wait and see what comes out in the top lane. I'm not surprised by the Saigon Jokers, that Vietnamese team, picking up Ezreal. He's been the #1 attack damage carry this tournament so far. He's just been heavily, heavily sought after. I would expect to see a Graves on the return here, but that's not a guarantee. A lot of these guys run a couple of different, specialized champions. I know Jae Young definitely loves to play Vayne and Kog'Maw. These are not banned out. He might go for them. It's going to work pretty well.
So we'll have to see what the Jokers try to pull out here. Hunter's going for a bit of aggression. And it looks like the Jokers are pulling out a lot of safety with that Maokai, with that Ezreal. They're able to support each other. They're able to get out and kite themselves. Maokai having those 2 crowd control spells of Arcane Smash and Twisted Advance. Very good for peeling champions off, especially if they have Blood Boil, especially if you've been sharded by Maokai and you're slowed. So these guys are really kind of giving themselves safety as well as a good amount of aggression towards that late game. Maokai's ultimate being able to mitigate some of that damage coming in, but Ezreal's going to be able to hop out anyways, and they go for that Karthus. As I said before, Nixwater is going to say, I may not be mobile in my lane, but I'll be mobile in my abilities of the map.
Wow, and I like these picks overall. Vayne Nunu guarantees you a great late game no matter what you're against.
Yeah,
Vayne
that's
Nunu
painful.
is the best late game champion in the game. And I realize I'm naming 2 champions by saying this, but Blood Boil on Vayne is freaking scary. Nothing out late games that. Right now, Malaysia needs to keep Vayne alive. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for a couple of defensive options. That Cassid pick is really awesome. That's actually a great one there for actually shutting down Karthus in lane. That could work very, very well overall. Orianna, Nocturne, other great options. If they go for the Nocturne, that means they can actually dive Ezreal here. Now, we saw them do it last time with Aurelia. And of course, they banned out Aurelia themselves this time. But when you've got Nocturne in there, you've got Malphite in there, which is pretty much Aurelia diving you 2.0. Even more scariness. And they're actually going to let, if they do grab in this Nocturne here, because they've got to grab their 5th champion, they're saying, you know what? Go ahead and counterlane Malphite. Take your last pick as the top lane. It's okay. We'll just hope that he can survive this one. But it looks like that Nocturne dive, Orianna's able to help them dive. You've got Malphite in there as well. It is very easy for Malaysia to shut down Archie's Ezreal. It's going to be a bit scary.
Although Malphite, the really good pick, unless QTV goes something very basic attack based and heavily formed there, they really don't have too much attack speed to slow down. It's all abilities coming at them, and Ezreal's not going to be in that fight to take that ground slam attack speed debuff from Malphite. So we're going to have to see that Malphite really going unstoppable force, balls to the wall, just trying to get himself into this fight, because if they can, you're going to have Nocturne coming in, double shield as well from Orianna. So that's going to be a very tanky Nocturne, and then the Blood Boiled Vayne. As we said before, a little bit shorter on the attack distance, but if she can get in there with the attack speed to scale that W, she is going to be doing some massive damage, and there is a lot of lockdown on that team. Orianna's ultimate is going to be able to shut down a lot of that team, and again, they don't pick that attack or the basic attack heavy champion. They go for Vladimir. So it's a lot of AP to that Malphite pick.
This is going to be really, really interesting overall, because by going double ability power suddenly, you've got a very interesting dynamic in this matchup. So Malaysia, right, they're all about diving and crushing down the attack damage carry, and then kind of resetting the fight and relying on Vayne Nunu. And Nunu can be a pretty decent babysitter to like survive and be fine. But what Vietnam has suddenly is they've got a crap ton of burst damage. If they can initiate well, they've got Sona's Crescendo, they've got Vladimir's Hemoplague, they've got Karthus being Karthus, and you've got Ezreal, who's got the True Shot Barrage, and of course Maokai can keep everyone alive with his ultimate. So there's a ton of burst here from the Vietnamese team, and a ton of burst here from the Malaysian team. The difficulty, though, is it's going to be so hard to keep Vayne alive. And suddenly, Vayne's saving grace is not her support, but actually the mid-mage. It's going to be Orianna that'll keep Vayne alive. If Orianna gets really good shockwaves, gets really good protecting shields there, suddenly Vayne will survive that counterburst, and out of nowhere, it's going to be an easy team fight. So there's two big keys here. It's going to be one, how effective is Malphite Nocturne at shutting down Ezreal?
Right.
Number two, how effective is Orianna at keeping Vayne alive? It's already a shoo-in that Vayne's going to do a lot of damage. It's already a shoo-in that they will be able to dive and do a lot of damage, and it's a shoo-in that, Nuna's going to be very defensive and drop out a lot of crowd control. But will Vayne survive? Will they kill things? Meanwhile, for Vietnam, it's going to be, honestly, some sort of similar points. Can they actually burst down? They're very area of effect focused. Every single one of their ultimates affects up to everyone in the game. Every single one of them with an offensive ultimate can hit all 5 enemy champions. Everyone with an defensive ultimate can hit all 5 teammates. So Vietnam, they want to fight in one big concentrated section and basically slug it out. That's ultimately, I think, their goal is to slug it out and just be stronger as a team because of all their area of effect abilities.
Yeah, it's going to be big. As we look at these champions, there's really only a few that can break that Nunu ult. That Nunu ult is going to be combined with Unstoppable Force, and that is a huge burst of front-end damage that's going in the beginning of the fight. Nunu is going to try to channel his Sub-Zero ultimate as long as possible, but you're going to be in the air for half of that time. So even if he decides to break it a little bit early, you're still getting a significant amount of damage, and then you have Orianna's ultimate to just suck everybody back in if they are trying to stop Nunu. So the crowd control within the Malaysian team is absolutely ridiculous. But the ability to stay on the outside, crescendo in, Nixwater still giving himself a ton of mobility with teleport from middle as well, and that on Karthus is dangerous, double in your face. Requiem comes down, and he comes down with the file right around you just to lay waste and take you out. And we see that Monkeys actually switched to teleport as they jumped through into the waiting time for the delay instead of his other summoner spell.
Yeah, so he's going to be running a very mobile situation here, and I like this because it will allow them to snowball the lanes ahead a little bit. Malphite's not really worried about getting into duels with Vladimir because he's not going to be able to do that. Like, Vladimir's going to survive pretty much all those encounters. He can Sanguine Pool, the Unstoppable Force. Nocturne's not going to... I don't think Nocturne's going to really gank that top lane all that much. Well, that said, it is a lane with crowd control. He can gank for Malphite. They can try to shut down Vladimir. There's actually a lot of things that can go on there. Malphite actually could be running teleport because he wants to 1 versus 2 against that Ezreal Sona lane. There's a lot of different options here. And actually, honestly, I would be pretty happy with letting Vayne run a 2 versus 1 lane. Normally you lane swap to shut down a pick, but on the other side, you can lane swap to give yourself a very safe lane here. Malphite with teleport, he can 1v2 pretty well. He can last hit with the Seismic Shard. He's got Summoner Teleport to go back in a lane. He's got the passive, the shield that will regenerate and let him sort of take some damage when he goes to last hit. There's a lot of great options here from Malphite overall. I would not be surprised to see Malaysia lane swap.
We were actually talking to Jay Young the other day too. He was saying, what summoner spell do I take in this? He was considering different ones, been trying different things out. We actually see Golden is running Cleanse, that Maokai. He thinks he's going to be babysat mid, and that's a lot of crowd control to put up with as well. But Jaeyoon goes for heal. That's his kind of mainstay, the flash heal on Vayne, which likes to bait things out. He is a safe player, likes to clean up the fight in the end, so he keeps himself healthy with that summoner heal. We'll have to see if that's the cleanse on Orianna instead of an aggressive spell hurts her in mid. Obviously, it's going to keep her safe, but will she be missing out on those sliver of health kills where Karthus just walks away?
Well, it's absolutely a possibility here. When you're short range and you can kind of push around a little bit, it can be difficult to chase someone down. There's actually a really good ability for both these teams to for one of these teams to disengage. Yeah. You've always got Requiem on one side, which is going to make your life pretty difficult. But on the other side, can Vayne chase down? Can Nunu chase down with Blood Boil? Can Orianna haste the team back out? Or is it going to be all Requiem all the time, picking up kills, left, right, and center? I can't quite call out how these team fights are going to go. It's going to depend on how well these players play. We called out how the fights might pan out. Burst damage on one side, burst damage on the other, but clustering together in Maokai's ultimate on one, or letting Vayne snowball the game out. The one good thing here for Malaysia is that the ultimate from Maokai does not reduce true damage. It will reduce physical and magic damage, and that will, it'll help against Malphite, it'll help against Nocturne, it'll help against Nunu and Orianna, but Vayne's Silver Bolt, if she gets enough attack speed going, she's going to really, really screw with you.
And you see them setting up for quite an aggression here in the top brush. I don't think they're going to see too much, though. We are going to have to see what they can pull out for this attack. A lot of the Vietnamese team is down and spread themselves out across the map, but they're still traveling with 3 powerful champions. Sona, Maokai, and that Karthus. Karthus being able to just throw that lay waste over walls. A slight bit of vision is huge this early in the game, and that lay waste can pay dividends for your team in this jungle invasion.
Yeah, it's all about checking the brush, and actually these guys are right against each other right now. Violet about to get jumped on. Monkey's going to find him. Will he go for any pushes? There's a little lay waste damage going off. It's going to keep Monkeys from doing too much here. Another sapling goes out, really spots what these guys are up to. So far, nothing has happened yet in this jungle invade. They got that one ward down. They actually saw Hagane running around there. Junior's going to be happy to chill up at the top lane. And there we go. We're seeing double lane swap come up here as we've got Sona at the top lane, but so is Vayne and Nunu. So we're going to have Malphite 1v1 against Vladimir up at the bottom lane. And I got to believe this is the Saigon Jokers realizing that it was... mind games for days. Look at that. They're going to recall back. And the Malaysians sent back to this bottom lane. They knew the lane swap happened. They went for the top lane. They knew there was a lane swap, so they re-swapped back. And again, they've got a nice, easy lane there for Vayne.
The blue buff pulling back on and resetting a bit for Maokai there, but Violet's going to be able to grab it. I like that strategy by the Hunters. They went in knowing Maokai would be throwing saplings down, and they kind of took a few of those away so he couldn't go for the normal wraiths to blue and then back around. But he'll still have his blue buff. It's only going to slow him down a little bit, and at level 1, 2, he still has that crowd control. Or actually, he's going to have to get 3 because he has saplings. So yeah, you're not going to really see him too late, but you're not going to see him very early either.
And there's not really much of a reason to overall. You can't gank that bottom lane. He's got to wait till he's up to the top of the map before he can gank top. He can't really gank mid very well because Golden's Orianna. What are you going to do against an Orianna? She's got cleanse at this point. You know, she's going to have that shield pretty soon. It's not going to work all that well. And additionally, she can fight from very far away. Vladimir actually going to caught out a little bit there. They have a ward in that brush. He wanted to recall and lane swap. You can see Ezreal and Sona on your minimap running their way back down. Don Muri already at level 3. Compare that to that poor Maokai, and he actually can't even start his own lizard buff just yet. He's a little bit, shooken off.
Yeah, that is going to slow him down. Like we said, we're not going to see him too early. 100 gold here just in mechanics going to Malaysia. That's not going to be too much on either side. Nixwater pushing his lane as much as possible, and he's going to go ahead and look for the raids.
He was going to pull red.
Yep. Oh, that's, yeah, pulling red because they were going slow on it. Very nice job there. He definitely has enough health to do that as he gets his auto attacks off in that basic heal. See the pushing the lane. Archie trying to do what he can to last hit under the turret. Nixwater grabbing a little bit of mana on each minion slain. These guys just trying to sustain it in lane. No real aggression coming from either lane. They switch back though. Monkey's kind of going in here. Gets the ground slam down into the shard. He's taking quite a bit of just basic attack damage though. He's right within the minions. He's got to be very careful and mindful of that.
Yeah, whenever you fight up against the minion, it's a little bit difficult. The one good thing for Malphite, though, is he's probably building a 21 defense build, and so he's got those minion damage reduction masteries, which make tanking minions not quite so scary. Normally, you have to be a little bit worried about, pulling up minion aggro, but it helps a lot when you kind of rely on a lot of armor and you get to kind of block the damage out. You're just constantly, just over and over, seeing the Malaysians just swap their lane around. The Hunters really just want to give Vayne a free lane there. Blood Boiled pushing down minions, last hitting as much as possible. You can see him at 17 minion kills right now. Ezreal actually at 29 though, so these lane swaps, Jaeyoung does not have a lot of gold for those swaps. I'm surprised at that, but look at that. You've got 18 on Vayne, only 13 on Malphite, and you're seeing 29 on Ezreal, 21 on Vladimir. There's a significant minion lead, despite what I thought was great lane swaps from the Malaysians.
And with a good amount of tank, the Blood Boil, the Vayne, they're going to be able to knock down on these turrets quite big. So maybe, they're pretty much going objective focused. But right now, yeah, they're not being able to push that at all. Coming back to lane, level 3s here. Even with switching lanes, the Vietnamese team has stayed in that area of the same range. Jaeyoung taking quite a bit of attack damage, or basic attacks here. And they're trying to punch the health potions back up. He slows down the attack speed, but he still wants to go in for the fight. The exhaust goes down. Jaeyoung trying to kite. Archie coming in, and here comes Don Murray. Don Murray is coming in with the Dustbringer. He gets it down on Archie. Who's going to grab the first blood here? The Ignite is down, and they do find it onto Ezreal. They will also take out Sona, and this could fall down for the triple kill on the Vietnamese team. The Jokers find themselves in a poor position here, and it may even be the 4th for them, as the spawns are very slow right now. They're able to get back, or very low rather, they're able to get back, but nobody's going to be able to teleport in. A very nice turnaround, getting himself a kill, and actually makes it out alive. Great job by by Violet there.
Wow, Nixwater, it was the right idea. Yep. He came in with teleport to pick up a kill there. The Wall of Pain went down, but he misjudged his own mana bar.
Yes.
He showed up for that fight, and then Wall of Pain, oh crap. It was basically what went through his mind right there. Could not get more than one leg waste off until he was killed. That would have been a double kill for him if he could have landed those abilities, but unfortunately not quite able to. I mean, he had flash up, he was level 4 or 5, he had a lot of damage up and available, but no mana to spend it.
We see QTV more than happy to push this bottom lane. Really not one of his mainstay champions, but the AP around, as we said, that double AP is going to factor into this team comp as they come into the late game. But that also is going to factor into Hunter's builds as well. They're going to try to build for that magic resistance because that's really all they need to look for. And then the Ezreal. The Sona's going to be able to help with the AP as well, give Ez some AD, but it's just going to not be that much. So there's really only one path of defense for the Hunters, and that may play to their advantage up into the late game.
Yeah, it's going to be nice for them overall. They've already got the 3-1 lead. Vayne's getting nice and beefy. 2 Doran Blades there as well. Actually, more or less keeping up with Ezreal, although Archie on Ezreal doesn't have Berserker's Greaves, so there's a bit of a swing there. But you're seeing, what can they do about this, though? They've got to kind of come back there and reset. They're down 1,000 gold. There's the initiation. Violet getting pulled back into that turret. Look at the damage output. That was amazing from Golden. Difficulty here, though, is Karthus is level 6, which means if Golden doesn't recall back in time and get a shield up, he's a little bit susceptible to a Requiem there. He's going to be safe at this point. He's got enough health back, and Nocturne's going to hold up that mid lane. Now you're seeing this top lane, despite the gold advantage here, you're seeing Jaeyoon get bullied a little bit by this Ezreal. And overall, I think Vietnam's fine in this top lane.
Yeah, it was really great by Golden for praise on that. It's kind of in that much of like an anticipatory fight. It's kind of easy to throw the Orianna ult and bounce somebody in the wrong direction, but she pulled him right towards the turret. Didn't even have to use Cleanse for the situation. Did use Flash to get herself away from Karthus, but picking himself up a kill. Very nice by Golden, very sound play. Gets himself that in mid, and he's going to come back with the Chalice very early, something we've seen quite often now in League of Legends play.
Yeah, so now we're going to see what they're able to go for. So the challenge of the early Athenes, right? It looks like the build here for Golden, the Amplifying Tome tells me he's definitely going for Athenes more so than like Death Cap or Abyssal because they don't build into that item. So he's going to be rushing that out, grabbing some cooldown reduction. Top lane some more aggression. They're actually just jumping in on Junie. I don't like this idea though. Jaeyoon could get just crushed on right now. Will they pick up the kill? A lot of damage going out. The Requiem is there. So low. There's the last take of Ignite. They will trade 1 for 1. Good job, Karthus there. And now it's Archie getting away from Don Muri, and that's what's a little worrisome. Oh no, the True Shot Barrage is gonna pick it up. Archie, nice move right there, picks it up. Nixwater getting his own golem as well. What a turnaround there. The Vietnamese team picking up 2 for 1, and that is why I do not like just diving a support. Archie was just there dealing damage over and over and over to Jaeyoon. He got dropped down. He just got crushed on right there. And suddenly, Golden's not going to like this one either. Look at the damage output. Nixwater there. Violet's there. Cleanse goes off. Hemoplague is on as well. 1 more hit to go. He's going to die. No, the shield. Is it going to be enough? It's not going to be enough. Hemoplague picks up that kill. Suddenly, it's 4 to 5 with a 200 gold difference.
An amazing job by the Jokers just coming out and pulling out all the tricks that they had in that play. Like you said, very scary to completely go in on the support. Don Muri seemed to be a half second behind on that initiation, which allowed Archie to get off a few more basic attacks. Another Mystic shot, and we saw that Hagane took so much damage as they focused down Sona. She was another 5 to 600 range past where Archie was, and that is definitely going in harder than you should if you're trying to get a champion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you just dive in that far, you just take auto attacks for days. It's just not a good situation. I think he thought he could live with heal or flash, something like that, but there's too much damage up. But they forgot that Karthus could sit in with Requiem. I mean, that's really what got him the kills. He otherwise had disengaged. But, Requiem, Ignite, constant damage output from Ezreal. They've got to be worried about this. And, they don't want to get Karthus fed. That's going to be the one really huge late game carry, I think, for the Vietnamese team here. If Karthus becomes too threatening, there's not a lot of options to deal with him.
See Vayne trying to use that ultimate to get damage down on the turret. So yes, they are definitely going for that turret pushing team. You have Nunu. You're going to be able to just slam down on those. You have Malphite as well as Nocturne to be quite tanky and tank a few shots if they require to. But right now, that was a very good play. As Orianna went down in mid, they knew her, Violet still knew that Flash was down. They utilized that, and they're trying to pick up on all those little points that they can right now and get themselves back in. They've brought it within 200 gold, as it was about 3 to 1, 4 to 1, now 5 to 4 as we heard before. Golden's Flash still down, about 30 seconds to come back up, and they continue to pressure him in middle.
And they're going to want to do that. They really want to give Karthus free roam in this matchup overall. Look at the minion kill difference. It's only 5 right now. The 77 to 70, really, really close overall. But if they can give Karthus an easy lane, a free lane, he's going to be able to keep farming monkeys. taking a bit of pressure here. I don't know if I like this. Look at the burst damage coming back there from Vladimir. He just overextended. That was honestly just a little bit silly. I don't know if he didn't think Ignite was up, but man, he got chunked right there. Now Jaeyoung beginning to taking damage. Look at the burst coming out here, and it's a teleport though coming in from Karthus. This time he has mana, and this is going to be enough. Donmir's going to get dropped down. Jaeyoung, can he get away on this turret? Look how low they are. Can he juke this damage out? He's got one more tumble. Archie's still in there. There's the flash, exhaust. There's the absolute zero. Archie's going to get dropped. He's almost doing enough damage. Jaeyoung will live. And now Agane just going for what he can, but no one is there to support him. He doesn't have an Orianna anywhere nearby. She's actually down at the bottom lane, but they want to chase in. Nyx Water's out of mana, and here comes Malphite. Let's stop the forces. 1. Will they get Nyx Water for 2? It's going to be close. Yes, they picked that one up. And he's got Requiem though.
Yeah.
Jaeyoung, can he lifesteal? No, he cannot. That's going to be a quick kill trade overall, going I think 3 for 3. And they've managed to equalize that one now. Again, equal gold here 12 minutes in.
A great job in saving grace by Hagane there. Before the Requiem, Jaeyoung was saved by the absolute zero. The Blood Boil to go on. They turn around to pick up the kill and actually gave it back to Jaeyoung. 6, 3, and 1. Just missing the ulti. I don't believe he needed a pull, but they were definitely playing it safe.
Did.
Just on the outer edge, yeah. He would have been pulled in. That would have been another kill. Orianna stacking her auto attacks are going to completely do more damage on each one, and that would have been another kill for Golden. He is very omnipresent right now, but as Nyx Wad likes to be omnipresent as well, he is using that teleport to pay dividends for his team. Archie now face to face with Monkeys. Monkeys being very aggressive, taking a lot of free damage. We saw him take a kill actually from QTV down bottom, and he really doesn't need to be doing this. If somebody were coming up top, this would be an easy counter for him.
Ezreal just going to go for the damage. Monkey's not going to like this one. He's going to take the auto attacks as much as he can, but nope, Archie just allowed to deal free damage. Monkey's head is not in the game right now. Now he's gone triple gold generation. Cage's lucky pick, Philosopher's Stone, Heart of Gold. He's going to be rich as his game goes on. That's going to allow him to be this sort of burst caster, golden cleansing out. He's going to take a lot of damage there. Look at all the pain coming in. It's a little bit scary for him, but he's going to survive. Jaeyoung diving this turret though. QTV in a 1v3. He's got a turret on his side, condemned. So much damage. Jaeyoung though, he's going to fall down in return. Look at that turret shot. And they're going to trade equally on that one. 9-9 still. And that top turret's going to go down. And now Vietnam are up in gold. Despite that 3-1 trade very early on that set them so far back, they're now winning this game.
9-9 and 600 gold up, 1 turret each as they have battered down a top and middle turret. And now it looks like they will be forcing down this second tier mid turret. It's going to be about half health, a good prep for later. They're going to be able to walk out of this one and look for what resources they can deny to Malaysia Hunters.
Yeah, well, right now though, it's going to be turrets. They're about to be up 2-1 overall. Archie just kind of breaking this one down. Cannon minion blocking up all the minions. And they're baiting for this. Oh no, he's got a ward though. That would have been a nice attempt though. Baiting out the defense and just showing up for a team fight.
Monkeys returning back to top lane with his team. Actually going a little bit of AP Malphite here. Trying to deal some damage with his team, so he's not going to be as tanky as usual. He does have those 2 gold generation items to help him continuously stay. Actually 3 gold. Went for the Kages as well, Cage's pick rather. 15 minutes into this game, like we said, even all about 600 gold on the lead. It is still anybody's game, but it is back and forth fights. The objectives are not really the main focus here. You would think with that Nunu, with going in with that Vayne, as well as that Nocturne, they're going to be able to take down some turrets fast, but they just have not had the chance. It seems like the minion waves are not in their favor.
Yeah, and Jaeyoung cannot fight QTV either whatsoever. You just see how much damage that Vladimir is dealing. It's a very, very scary situation. Archie going to be grabbing this golem buff here. This is a lot of advantage here for Vietnam. They've got double golem buffs right now because Karthus has one. They've got a kind of a big lane advantage. You know, Vayne, though she has 7 kills, is very low on minions. Actually, just look at the minion kills down there. 3 of them breaking 100 minions so far. No one breaking 100 minions for Malaysia. That's very, very telling. You're seeing this 1,000 gold lead despite equal kills. Some of it's from the turret, but some of it's from out laning overall. And this is a scary situation. This Vladimir is a very, very brutal champion right here. Because he went for a lot of magic penetration, his mid game is super strong right now. And it's going to be very hard for Malaysia to survive fighting him. You know, I think right now Vietnam wants to keep pushing and forcing these battles because they'll win every time. They're about to get their 3rd turret. And honestly, I think they'd be happy to base race as well. You're seeing Malaysia go back for a push in this mid lane to try to counteract that. And they'll get some damage. They actually will not pick up this turret. There's no way. They've only got 2 people here and very few minions there to tank it. So Vietnam's going to keep building an advantage here.
So now with this wave moving up, they decide not to go for Dragon. They have Karthus on one side, Unstoppable Force into 3 of the team. The Orion ult, he pulls them all in. Where's the Nunu ult there? It comes out in the bush. May he get a full proc on? Yes, he does, and he takes out a double kill with Absolute Zero. An amazing Absolute from the bush. They find another kill as Vayne comes up onto QTV, or rather onto Nixwater. He finally goes down from Death Defy. Archie gets out alive after picking up Nunu from his double kill, so that's going to be some nice gold under his belt, as well as a blue buff, and they go for the 3 for 4 in an all-out face battle.
Wow, and so they just barely come out ahead. QTV now left alone, just surviving everything. And he's going for this turret. He's still got that 4 stacks of Tides of Blood, just wants to clear out these minion waves every time they do show up. This will be the 4th turret here for Vietnam. They are just loving their mid game right now. They are doing phenomenally. Junie waiting around to pick up a couple of items there. There we go, moving on out. Another turret going down. That is 4 to 1. They are absolutely commanding this mid game.
QTV hanging out in mid, trying to push some minions up as he gets a few more under his belt here. Probably getting that Blasting Wand on top of his Needlessly Large Rod. Looking for that AP stack here as well. It's going to give him some ability power. Actually, Needlessly Large Rod for him already has the Blasting Wand. I was looking at Nixwater's inventory, and they are all quite tanky within their builds. That Rod of Ages helping Nixwater stay tanky. The AP synergy with the HP for Vladimir's passive is going to keep him up there as well, and that's why he scales so well. The Revolver for extra sustain. And these guys just really have great core item builds so far. Once that Rabadon's is finished, Vladimir is going to be one of the scariest on the team, and he will just be able to roam with Karthus in these fights. They are more than happy to get in the middle. Karthus can just play zombie Karthus all he wants, which means he's more than happy to die in the fight, but knowing he's going to get the assist, knowing his team is going to win the fight. If you do that incorrectly, it just becomes a feed fest.
Yeah, and that's going to be the case here. You know, there's so much damage output overall. The death cap's pretty near completed. They've got the dragon there, but they traded for a turret, which was really good by Malaysia, where they knew they did not have the map control to fight for dragon or the team fight presence, but they got to get themselves a turret back. It's 2 to 4 right now. Definitely a lead here for Vietnam. 3,500 gold, still their lead. They've got the oracles as well. Let's see what kind of map vision they're controlling here. Actually, a lot of wards still out for Malaysia, despite that oracles. They've got a lot of vision overall, and you've got a lot of ward coverage as well. So both these teams flying very far from blind, and we'll see how it's going to pan out with team fights, because they will see them coming on both sides.
And something we've definitely noticed in the Southeast Asian play a little bit more than comes out in North America and even Korea is these guys like early red elixirs. More than the late in the game, they like to pick these up. It is not going to be ticked by if you're on Ignite. That red elixir is still going to give you the amount of HP, so you can save yourself in some very tight situations, as well as get the damage necessary to just keep pounding these guys down. Vayne did not go for the fast Infinity Edge build. She went for that Zeal to scale with W, her attack speed also from Nunu, and the Bloodthirster to keep herself sustained, since they really don't have any on their team. They have Vladimir and Sona on the other side to keep them buffed up in the fight, so they need to do what they can personally to keep themselves in these fights.
Yeah, and you're just seeing the double mages overall, you know, scaling themselves throughout this game. Death Cap is done on Vladimir. He is such a force to be reckoned with. Got an early Cages pick just for some extra gold income early on. You see he's got to, you know, plus 386 gold on that. Sorcerer's Shoes probably up next to join that Haunted guys for magic penetration. But he is scary. This Karthus as well. Just the combined to go before he gets his own Death Cap. So a lot of damage output available here. We're going to see Vietnam trying to constantly push themselves on forward. They're now up invading into the jungle. Archie going to be getting the golem buff for himself. And again, just so much resource denial. They got the dragon. They've now started stealing away golem buffs. This is very good for them.
Yeah, 20 minutes into the game, they're knocking down on the second tier turrets. The third tier, that inhibitor turret in mid. Something we didn't see the last few games, the team's going for top and bottom, but it looks like they want that vision down mid. The minions will also help give you an idea of what the enemy team is doing, and it looks like they're going for the 4-person Baron here. They're going to leave QTV out in the open. I really like this strat when the team realizes, you know, they're probably not in the mindset that somebody's going to do Baron. There's not too much damage across the team themselves, but right now they're going to be able to chunk down this Baron. It looks like they are being somewhat aggressive down. The Crescendo goes out, the ultimate as well, but they have a double dive team going in with the Nocturne ult and the Malphite Unstoppable. They're able to get Baron, but can they get out of this fight alive with it? That is going to be the problem. The huge amount go down by the Requiem, so much damage coming out, and it is not going to be the turnaround that they wanted onto the Baron. QTV having the vision of them, knowing they were in base, knowing the time it took, and that was a great idea and mental play by Junie, throwing out the ultimate of the Crescendo. The Unstoppable Force and Nocturnality were used perfectly, but the team was still lagging behind from being stunned so hard from Crescendo, they weren't able to follow up on the fight.
Yeah, they completely stopped the aggression there. Wall of Pain from Karthus, Crescendo from Sona. They really did just stop them from pushing in and following up. The initial Malphite burst was pretty strong. They did pick up 2 kills. They got Karthus and Maokai together and got 2 right away. But then Requiem came out. You know, Maokai's a jungler. He doesn't need to stay around in the fight to do a great job. They got the Barons what they needed. The Ezreal True Shot Barrage had landed as well, just down the column there. Really, the positioning for Malaysia was just not what it needed to be, but they had to, right? They had to dive in to stop the Baron attempt, but it just meant that they were all going through one choke point, and they all tanked, you know, the slows and the stuns and the damage output and the globals, and they just all lost their health bars so incredibly quickly. It was a nice attempt there. Orianna and Malphite did a lot of burst damage. They got a bit in there, but they just didn't get enough in there. Great team fight for Vietnam.
I don't know if they feel like they're getting too spread or they just love the Aegis, but they have picked up 2 on Vietnam's side. The Joker's going for 2 of those defensive aura items. They're not going to stack on each other, but you will kind of spread out the amount of aura that will be distributed to your team. So they have been getting split in these fights, so we'll have to figure out how they go for it. They can't just stand in the middle of the Orianna and Unstoppable Force all from Malphite. So these guys playing a little bit of a synergy role here, trying to help each other out in every way that they can. Let's hope that that purchase does not come back to bite them in a possible Shurelia's build that may have been more helpful.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You can almost get away with double Aegis. I still think, as you said, that was probably a miscommunication. That is probably not really on purpose. They're like going in, guys, we want 2 Aegises. No, yes, you do get more aura coverage, and you do have one other upside, which is if you own Aegis and someone else owns Aegis, you'll get both auras. You get your own item on top of what your teammates do. So Sona and Maokai are both actually enjoying the double Aegis. It's just no one else is.
Right.
And so, you know, they're kind of losing a lot of potential power from that item. And maybe because, you know, one's ranged, one's melee, one's diving, one's defensive, they really do just want to have the extra range there. But again, you've got items like Zeke's Herald, and you've got items like Shurelia's Reverie that you might want instead. And oh, look at that burst damage. Crescendo, hello. They're going to pick up Don Miri. A nice push there by Golden, going to get himself out. And Unstoppable Force hits 3. Can they do enough damage? Oh, that's an absolute 0. But everyone else is still just barely alive. They're going to pick up everything right now. Jae Young left alone. He's not going to be able to get this. He's going to flash away, but he's not picked up any kills here. They're still going to try to chase him down. You know, can he make this happen? A ward goes down. Violet sees him. Archie about to jump over the wall. Not going to land his skill shots. Now Jae Young is alone. He might want to duel Violet here, or they're just going to go for the base. Looks like right now Vietnam going for the base.
All the wards being thrown down by Violet as he tries to chase. Jae Young getting hit. A beautiful job on the execution there, and they will go down on the base. I like the chase though. He wasn't throwing the sapling out. He wasn't trying to dodge her away. He was saying, you're not going to have time to back to defend. Your team is down. And that was a great just pause there on Vayne, on Jae Young there as Violet was chasing.
Yeah, that's fine overall. And you're seeing Vietnam, you know, the respawn timers are still a bit low. It's only 24 minutes in. You know, it feels like we're into late game because so many turrets are dead, but it's only 24 minutes, so these respawn timers are not all that long. That Nudu, if he were level 11, he would have died a bit slower, had more base damage than absolute 0. It might have turned that fight around. That little bit of experience, honestly, would have been a very big factor in that fight. With maybe 2 people in Vietnam dead, they might have not pushed down the turret or inhibitor. That was almost like a game-winning level up if he had it. But right now, you know, Vietnam saying, okay, we know you respawned, it's early game. They go ahead and grab a dragon. They try to steal some jungle presence right there, you know, get some extra gold that way. And they're still scaling up. They are now up 10,000 gold. They're up about 30% over Malaysia. That is a very, very big margin. And we are here in Vietnam. We're in Da Nang, the 3rd largest city in the country. And I don't know if you can quite hear them, but you know, behind this wall, we actually hear them pretty loudly. Every time the Vietnamese player gets a kill or kills a turret, they are roaring. It is the loudest crowd I have honestly heard. When I'm outside of this room just watching the games, they are ludicrous out there. And you know, I can't wait to see, you know, these teams constantly playing well, the crowd's backing them, because it's a great environment.
Being on your home turf gives you that advantage, and right now Vietnam doing what they can to bring it home for their hometown. They are still denying resources. Malaysia doing what they can to cover the outside of the base. You can just see the amount of wards right now all over the map for these guys. There's Malaysia, and that's what Vietnam sees. They have all the aggressive wards. Malaysia is only on their side of the map, and right now they're playing completely defensive wards, completely defensive play style. Really, the next thing they're going to have to come up on is a Baron or a failed turret attempt where just cooldowns are used erroneously. They're going to have to capitalize huge on that. But Vietnam has stopped making mistakes, and they're coming out on the top of every fight, getting out by the skin of their teeth. Here it is. They're going to go on QTV. He's able to get right out of that. The terror goes off, but they break the tether. Crescendo goes out. Malphite still has unstoppable force. Will he decide to use it? And he will not. It actually got stopped very quickly, and I believe he might have missed. We'll see Ezreal getting another double kill here. Archie getting completely exploded down by Jaeyoung. Can he get out of the way of Defile? No more mana for Karthus, trying to get out more damage, but it's going to be the team power and numbers to make it happen, and they are knocking on the front door of the Nexus turret, Freak.
Yeah, they're going to want this one over. That the Malphite tried to pick down the Vladimir, but he flashed the unstoppable force, and now Vietnam is able to turn that one back around with so much crowd control missing. He's going to take the second Nexus turret down, and they're going to be now in the final 3 in the Southeast Asian regionals. They are 2 opponents away from making their way to Los Angeles. We'll see if they can do it. That is GG. Congratulations, Vietnam knocks out Malaysia.
Wow, an amazing game there. Jaeyoung, Hagane, and Golden playing so strong in the beginning, but we see that some teams get complacent in their gameplay. They say, yes, we have these lanes. Let's do a little bit more switching. Let's get everybody back to normal, and let's see what we can do. And I have to give props to the Vietnamese team. The Saigon Joke